Barcelona are finally starting to become the Barcelona we all once knew it as again. A world-class team seen as one of the favorites to win the Champions League. The question is, can Barcelona already win the Champions League this season? How far can they realistically get with the squad they have now? Well, that's what we'll discuss in this video, so make sure to stay tuned. 1 year ago, Barcelona got knocked out in the group stages and it seemed as if it was still too early for Xavi's team to really show up in the big games. Now, this season, Barcelona will get through to the knockout stages. But what tells us that Barcelona can succeed where they failed 1 year ago, in the big games against the likes of Inter and Bayern Munich? Well, Barcelona have improved. First of all, in their mentality. Against Porto, they showed that they were able to protect the lead and not give it away. Players like Araujo, Koundé and Ter Stegen showed that they can show up in the most difficult of moments and get Barcelona through them. With players like them, Barcelona should be able of getting through big European nights. Remember those games against Inter and Bayern last season? Well, in 3 of those 4, Barcelona weren't able of playing with both Araujo and Koundé together. So they were maybe quite unlucky with the timing of the injuries that they suffered. And who knows, maybe they wouldn't have exited the Champions League if it wasn't for those injuries. What about the games against Man United? Well, there in that second leg that Barcelona lost, Barca just showed a lack of mentality to get through it, honestly. That was one of the problems. It was the Europa League and you felt that the players weren't as motivated as in the Champions League or in El Clasico. Of course, Xavi committed some errors as well, and Barcelona still have an inexperienced squad now too, but the way they played away against a team like Porto shows that they are starting to grow and become able of handling those big European nights. Also, Barcelona, in comparison to last season, have improved in midfield and attack. In midfield there's more depth now with Gundogan, and Gavi has honestly improved massively now, and he's the kind of player who might really be crucial to get Barcelona through tough moments on Champions League nights. In attack, Barcelona weren't productive enough 1 year ago, honestly. We relied on Lewandowski and on Dembélé, who was too unpredictable and wasn't a big game player. Our left side wasn't even dangerous at all. Now we have João Felix as the roaming left winger who provides way more creativity and movement from that side, and we don't have Dembélé anymore, which means that either Ferran Torres, Rafinha or Lamine Yamal can play on that side, and all 3 of them are better than Dembélé on a big European night, honestly. That improvement in mentality, combined with the fact that our squad has just improved in general, shows that Barcelona do have a better chance than last season of getting far in the Champions League. But how far? That's the big question. As we have quite an easy group this year and as we've already won the most difficult game in that away game to Porto, I think it's fair to assume that we will end up on top of our group. That means that we will probably get a relatively easy opponent in round 16, a team of the same caliber as Porto. And those might not be easy games, but as La Liga champions and with the squad that we have and being FC Barcelona, you're just obliged to get past that round of 16. After that, it's hard to say what kind of teams you might start encountering, and it honestly depends on when we encounter what team when we will eventually be eliminated. If we would ever be eliminated. Because there's a question that I have for you. What team can't Barcelona beat right now? Of course, in the Champions League, things like luck and injuries are always involved, but those can work in Barcelona's favor as well, not only against them. Can we beat Real Madrid? Of course we can. And of course they can beat us too. At the moment, Barcelona and Real Madrid are about on each other's level. Barcelona might be a little better when it comes to pure quality, but on the Champions League stage I wouldn't call Barcelona favorites against Real Madrid. This is just a 50-50 tie. Teams like Bayern Munich and PSG, well, 3 years ago they would have hammered us, and they did. But now, both Bayern Munich and PSG aren't as good anymore. They've lost a lot of quality and Barcelona on the other hand have improved. Barcelona at this moment wouldn't be favorites against them, but it would be a 50-50 tie. What about Inter? They basically eliminated us 1 year ago. Honestly, I think that Barcelona were quite unlucky in those games with their injury situation, and they also showed that they lack the experience to stay composed in those big kind of games if things aren't going well. That's something that they have improved at though, and last season it were 2 very closely contested games. So again, this would be a 50-50 tie. There's one team though that you know of will be favorites against Barca if we would play them. Man City. Can Barcelona actually beat Man City at the moment? Well, against a team like Man City, first of all, Barcelona wouldn't be able of permitting themselves to play with João Cancelo as a rather offensive player. That's something that they have done up till now, that's brought them more goals, and it works well against smaller teams, but you do leave yourself wide open defensively that way. And that's one of the reasons why Barcelona have been conceding more goals than last season in La Liga thus far. Against teams like Man City, but this honestly goes for any big team that Barcelona might encounter in the Champions League, you can't play that way. You might score more, but you will concede on an even bigger scale, so yeah, especially against Man City, that's a big warning point. Barcelona would be underdogs against Guardiola's team, but there are always surprises in the Champions League. And this Barcelona team does have the necessary things to hurt a team like Man City, with players like Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, João Felix and Lamine Yamal. Eventually, how far Barcelona will get will depend on the tiny margins in those big games. If I would have to guess right now, I would say that they will just pass the quarterfinals with some luck in their favor as well, and in the semis I think they just lose by a small margin. Winning the Champions League isn't impossible, but Barcelona would have to be lucky to get there, because we just aren't the best team in the world. Yet. That was it for today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and feel free to share your own opinion in the comments down below. Força Barça, and have a good day.